Okay, welcome back to Care About Tutorials, and today we're going to be having a look at doing email broadcasts. So from your careabout.co.uk admin homepage, just make sure that you're in the right website that you want to be managing this from. If you have more to do, is we're going to go and have a look at Excel, and we're going to go into Microsoft Excel, and we're going to say File Open, and let's just open this one. And as you can see, we set one up with a first name, surname and email, and indeed first name, surname and email. And what we're going to do here is go File, Save As. Now you can see in here that there's a range of options. The default option is Excel Workbook. Now, the only problem with using Excel Workbook is it won't work. The one you need is CSV, delimited. And you can call the file whatever you want and save it where you want. But when you come to save it and say save, it says, do you want to replace it? So let's just say yes, that's fine. And then it moves into these queries here. So it says there are some CSV things that are not compatible. Do you want to keep this workbook in this format? And the answer is yes, because if you say no, it will revert back to being an Excel file. So you do want it as delimited. Okay. When you say close, it says, do you want to save the changes that you've made? If you say yes, it will save it back as an Excel file, and then it won't work. So what you do is you say don't. Let's just go straight into email broadcasts, which will take you into your own email broadcast tool. And you'll notice here that there are three main boxes: new broadcast, drafts, and sent items. New broadcasts is where you set up a new broadcast from. At any point during setting up a new broadcast, you can save it, at which point it will get moved through into drafts, and you can just pick up from your drafts, and you continue to develop your email within drafts right up to the point where when you send it, and at which point it will appear in sent items, at which point you can monitor when it's been viewed, who's viewed it, that type of thing. So let's go and do a new broadcast. So you'll see here that we've got save as you can do as you go along, setting up who the recipients are, and sending yourself a proof. As you do various stages of this, more tags will appear along here. You just need to keep an eye on them. So for example, once you've uploaded your list of recipients, whether you want to personalize them and things like that will start to appear. But for the minute, let's just go through and do this in a logical kind of way. So, campaign tag. This allows you, as it says, to group your broadcasts together, which enables you to find them. You might want to group them by month, you might want to group them by category, you might want to not group them at all. It depends how many you've got. But for the sake of simplicity, we're going to call these new business. Sender name, Nick Brown. Email, Nick. Subject, we're going to call this Christmas NB, which can be for new business. So, what type of broadcast do you want to send? It can be HTML or plain text. Now, there are lots of things to consider here which are really outside of the scope of this tutorial. However, plain text is, as it says, it has no pictures. It's more likely to get through a spam filter, and it will take up less bandwidth. In terms of doing business to business in the UK, the chances are you're going to want it to look pretty, so you're going to be using HTML. And we can go down here, so we can see, and by loading up HTML, straight away we've got the HTML editor, which is exactly the same as your Care About HTML widget, which deals with content and pictures. Another one that's materialized here is, do you want to upload an HTML file? Now, typically this would be used for if you have an HTML template for your email broadcast, in which case you would just upload that template. What you can also do is you can just upload pictures from here. Now, at this point, you can either include pictures straight onto your email broadcast, in which case, if you're sending it out to 10,000 people and you're paying for your bandwidth, you'll pay for sending that picture 10,000 times. It's not a good thing to do, and much better just to put a link into it, which is what we're going to show you how to do. So for the minute, we're going to assume that we're not using a template, but we are going to put a link into your server space in Telehouse. So this is going to say Happy Christmas, and let's put it in a sensible font. And we're just going to upload a picture in here. To do that, we are going to go back into Care About, and we're going to go into Manage My Files, which you may or may not have used before. So for the minute, let's just have a look at this one, and we're going to view this file, and we want the URL linked to it, so Control C, and then having captured it, we can go back into the email broadcast, go into the upload pictures, Control V. See, this is 250 across, which is not unreasonable size file. And if you want to add something underneath that, we can just go, may all your growth figures be like this in 2011. So again, let's change the font into Arial. And at this stage, I think it's a good point at which to save. It says, thank you, your changes have been saved. Now, if you were to go away and log back in again, because it will time you out after a certain amount of time, you could go to Home, and because you saved it, when you go into Drafts, under the section called New Business, there will indeed be one called Christmas NB. Right up to the point where you sent it, when it will move when you can't find it, it'll be because it's in Sent Items. And you can go in to Recipients, and we're going to add a file. Right, now we're going to move into the areas of managing data within Excel. And as it happens, I have one here in true BBC or Blue Peter fashion that I've made already, and it is a comma separated file. And you'll know it's the right one because it'll have this A comma written on it. If it hasn't got that, then you've made a mistake. And I have to say, it's not that hard to make a mistake. Let's just upload that file. So now we've got to select the email address, and the email address field is the one that's called email. We're just telling our broadcast system that that's the field that we want to start with. So we're going to go to Proceed, and it says thank you, it's now been uploaded, and as you can see, we've now got personalized, send proof and send it have appeared along the top here. So let's just have a quick look down. So you can check you've got the right file by checking here. And indeed there are the people we want to send it to, so we're happy about that. It says 4 and there's 3 because it counts the top row, which has got the names on. Now the only thing we might want to do is we might want to personalize it. Okay, so we might want to say Dear Nick, for example. So when we go into personalized, the merge tab is going to be, the data field is going to be first, because we want it to say Dear Nick, first name. And we normally use a hash. Actually, let's just use the default, hash first name. And for test data purposes, we're going to send it to Nick NB. That just fills something in there. It will pick it up when it sends out the email, otherwise it would just be blank. Okay, so we're going to add that field. Best just to copy this, Control C. Go return to broadcast. Go down here. Dear first name. Turn it into Arial just so it looks a bit better. We're pretty much ready to go. So back up to the top here and let's just save it. And then we're going to send a proof. So you need to know where you're going to send it to. So send it to your own email address. If you wanted to send a proof to other people, you can send up to 75 and click here to proceed. And thank you, that's now been sent. It's on its way, but we can now go send it. And it says, are you sure you want to send it? Because it can't be undone. And you say, okay. And it does it. It sent 4 items. Click here to return. So now our email has gone through into sent items, and we can go into the category tag. It's Christmas NB. We sent 4. This one here, the one we sent earlier today, we sent 4 and 3 have been read. Well, that's as many as are going to be read because the top one is just the first name, surname, email. So that's fine. Let's go more into one where someone has had a look at it. And you can see here it's giving you some stats. It's showing you the content of the email broadcast. So I think that pretty much covers from start to finish how to send out an HTML email broadcast. And in fact, so there it is coming through. And if we right click on that little box there and just say download pictures, it says, Dear Nick NB, that's a test one coming through. Happy Christmas. There's the thing. May all of your growth figs be like this in 2011. Thank you very much. And that's an end of this tutorial.